Good evening. Welcome to the Monday, August 26, 2024 Board of Adjustment public meeting. My name is Ed Ruth, and I will be the chairman for this evening's meeting. Ask you please to stand for a flag salute and a moment of silence, remembering in particular the 13 service members that we lost at Abbey Gate. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. All right. Madam Secretary, roll call. Before I do that, and just instruction, this meeting is in compliance with the Open Public Meeting Act, as adequate notice of the meeting has been provided by mailing to the annual schedule of meetings to the Star Ledger and Union County local source. By posting such annual meeting schedule on the bulletin board in the town hall reserved for such announcements, and filing of said notice with the Township Clerk of Clark, formal action may be taken at this meeting. Roll call, please.
Thomas Mead.
Present.
Mark Hayden.
Present.
Chris Tierney.
Here.
John Calaguire.
Here.
Ed Ruth.
Here. I would ask the members to review the minutes of our June 24th meeting, and may I have a motion to accept those minutes?
I make a motion to accept the minutes.
Motion by Tom Mead.
I'll second.
Second by Mark Helm. Hayden. Here we go. I'm getting it. Okay, any correspondence?
I do have an application for everybody that I believe was distributed.
Okay,
Okay?
for next month's
Everybody
meeting.
have the application for tonight's meeting?
Okay,
All right.
very good. Our calendar meeting this evening is to hear the case of Brenda Alborn at 12 Florence Drive.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Donald B. Fraser, Jr. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Parada, Fraser, and Forrester here in Clark. It's my pleasure this evening to represent Brenda Alborn, who is the owner of the property located at 12 Florence Drive, which is a single-family residence. We're here this evening seeking bulk variance relief to permit the construction of a porch which will protrude into the front yard setback of that property. Two things of note in terms of the property as reflected on the survey prepared by Mr. Deck, which is part of the application package. One thing is that the property, as presently constituted, is not in compliance with the impervious coverage requirements of the zone. Specifically, while the maximum permitted impervious coverage is 50%,
Tell me to speak into the microphone further.
I'm sorry. Although the maximum permitted impervious coverage in the zone is 50%, the present condition at the property is that there is 50.4% impervious coverage. In other words, the property is slightly in excess of that which is permitted. If the application this evening by the board were to be approved, the applicant will remove essentially a portion of the paved area of the property to reduce the impervious coverage, and in that respect, bring the property into compliance. The second thing that I should point out, and this is something that was pointed out by Township staff after the application was submitted, it was brought to our attention that the property is non-compliant in a second respect. Specifically, there are 3 existing sheds in the rear yard of the property. They are all depicted, again, on the survey prepared by Mr. Deck. It is our understanding now that that is a non-compliant condition, existing condition, in that only 1 shed is permitted per ordinance. This is all an existing condition. It is the applicant's desire that the 3 sheds be permitted to remain. So as long as we're here, we seek to regularize that condition, and therefore I have specifically included in the public notice that we published in the newspaper and served upon the neighbors, the 200-foot radius, that a second variance is sought for the 3 sheds. With regard to the front porch that is proposed to be constructed, I note that the required front yard setback in the zone is 25 feet. The existing condition, again, as per Mr. Deck's survey, is 24.61 feet, so it's about 5 inches short of the required setback as the current conditions are. Since the depth of the proposed porch is 5 feet, basically, when all is said and done, if the application were to be approved, there would be just short of 5.5 feet intrusion into the front yard setback. That's the application in a nutshell. I do have my client, Brenda Alborn, the owner of the property, here to testify, to give you the reasons why she wants to have this porch constructed. Also with her is her father, William, correct? William Alborn, who resides with her and had been the prior owner of the property, and in fact was the individual who started this application process, if you will. If you notice the May 11, 2023 zoning denial letter from Mr. Jusific, it's actually addressed to William rather than Brenda Alborn. But that's it, Mr. Chairman. So unless any of the board members have any questions of me before I call my first witness, I do at this time propose to call Ms. Alborn.
Any questions at this point? Go ahead and proceed.
I call Brenda Alborn.
Good evening.
Thank you for being...
Good evening. We're going to get you sworn in. Will you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth and the whole truth?
I do.
And state and spell your name for the record, please.
Brenda, B-R-E-N-D-A, Alborn, A-L-B-O-R-N.
Thank you very much.
Now, Ms. Alborn, you are in fact the owner of 12 Florence Drive, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and you heard everything that I just said to the board, right?
Yes.
Okay, now I wasn't sworn because I'm not a witness.
Okay.
So let me get it under evidence because you're the witness. Is everything that I just said to the board accurate and the truth?
Yes.
All right. And would you explain to the board why it is that you wish to construct this porch in the front yard of your property?
Okay. Right now, as it stands, I have an 85-year-old father who walks with a crutch, and he's a bit unsteady on his feet. He likes to spend his days on the front porch, especially even more so now since my mother passed away about a year and a half ago. I'm at work all day, so it's really it's one of the things that he likes to do. But the stoop is very close. It's not very deep. And I'm worried about him falling down the stairs. There's not much space between the last step and the end of the chair. And that's really why I'm asking for this.
Now, the porch that you propose to construct, it does not protrude further into the front yard setback than the existing stoop and steps. Is that correct?
Yes, it doesn't.
In other words, what you're essentially seeking to do is to widen, it's a pretty narrow porch and a stoop, correct?
Yes.
And what you're doing is you're seeking to widen it so that it won't be closer to the street, but that there'll be more of a landing area, sitting area where your father could be out on that porch, correct?
Right, and that way there'll be a,
Railing?
railing in the front for him to hold on to when he gets out.
Okay. Is there anything else that you want to tell the board about what you're doing and why you want to do this?
No?
Okay.
Thank you.
And you've, in fact, you're not going to build this yourself, are you?
No.
Who's going to build this?
Deck Express?
Okay, and that's a licensed contractor?
Yes.
And you're going to fully apply for all permits that would be necessary and comply with all requirements of the construction code in building this porch, correct?
Yes. Yes.
I have no further questions of this witness, Mr. Chairman.
I just have one point of clarification. Right now, with the steps, they are coming out 5 foot, or is that the 4.5 foot?
Well, I'm sorry, I didn't catch the last part. I didn't catch the last part of that question, Mr. Chairman.
The steps and stoop as they exist today,
Yes.
which are in compliance with the setback,
Well, I think maybe that's sort of the issue, Mr. Chairman. The setback is measured to the house itself, whereas the existing porch and steps actually protrude into the setback, which, as I understand your ordinance, is in fact permitted. What's going to be happening now, if this application were approved, is that situation will be widened, but it's going to be more of a structure than just a stoop. It's going to be a porch,
right?
okay? It's not going to go closer to the street than the existing steps, but I cannot represent to you that that would not be within the setback. It is within the setback. That's why we're here.
But then wouldn't the steps protrude further than the porch itself?
No, because there's...
They're going to be set back, in other words.
Right.
So that
inset
the
into-
end of the
inset
porch
into-
and,
Into the, inset into the porch.
okay. Understood. Any questions?
Unless they have a question, you can say. Do you have any questions of my
Anything?
witness?
Chris, do you have any?
Porch is only going half of the house, right? It's not going across the whole,
As you look at it from the street,
yeah,
and the third or fourth page, there's a picture.
yes.
The porch is going to go under, looking at it from the street, under the left window, but not under the right side bay window.
Okay, thank you.
The bay window, it's not going to cover that.
Not under the bay window. Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Can I just confirm that the porch is not covered?
That's
Oh.
correct.
The new porch is not covered and the existing steps are not covered?
Well, when you look at the picture, it looks to me like the
there
steps are not covered, but what I would call the landing area of the existing porch does seem to be covered.
So that will remain?
I'm sorry?
So that will remain, the covering right near the door?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I just want to make sure I have it clear.
But the porch that is being, or is proposed to be constructed will be uncovered.
And would the applicant be willing to put that in, if we approve your request, that that porch will remain uncovered?
Yes, in fact, it is a specific feature of our application.
Okay, fine. All right. Any other questions from the board? Pardon? You mentioned the sheds, and there are 3 on the property currently,
Yes,
whereas the ordinance in town talks only about 1 shed.
yes.
Would it be a hardship to the owner to remove at least one of those sheds?
The answer to that, I think, Mr. Chairman, is I can respond to it as follows. Yes, it would be a hardship, but I think what we should be looking at, and the applicant is making it a specific covenant of this application, is the applicant's going to bring this property, which is presently not in compliance with the impervious coverage requirements. We're going to downsize the impervious coverage so that they're in compliance. And I think when you look at one of the intendments of the restriction that there only be 1 shed is really because people are worried about impervious coverage and sheds take up space.
Correct.
So, yes, the applicant, these are small lots, it's a small house. The applicant is using those 3 sheds for storage. I haven't looked at them inside myself, but I think that they're pretty full up with stuff, and it would present a hardship to my client. And when this started, we didn't even know about the problem with there being 3 sheds, but in candor, because it was pointed out to me during the application process, we thought we should add it in because we don't want to hide anything at all. We are asking for that relief, that the 3 sheds could remain.
But the applicant could live with at least 2 sheds. Because I'm thinking of the ordinance and what is being required now by the town, that anyone comes in for a permit, they're told they can only have 1 shed. Understanding that you've had the 3 for many years, I would like to bring you more in compliance. The board agrees with me
I hear what you're saying, Mr. Chairman.
to reduce it down to the 2 in the back. Of
If I might consult with my
course.
If, from the board's perspective, it would be necessary for my client to commit to remove 1 of the 3 sheds as a condition to getting the porch, we would go with it. And that could be a condition in approval, council.
Thank you.
Let us pick, though, which one of the 3 we're losing.
Pardon me?
We want to pick which one of the 3 we're losing.
Okay. We'll give you that. Alrighty. Any other questions? Kelly, do you have anything else? If not, I'll ask for an approval. Or
Does the board want to have any discussion?
board want any discussion on this?
Mr. Chairman, before you do that, I should note,
We open it to
I
the public.
understand this individual in the audience is here on this application. He's not my witness, but in fairness, I believe he's here on this.
Fine. You make a,
I'm not calling him, but if you want to come up, sir.
sure. Good evening.
How you doing? Good morning.
Could you state your name and spell your name for the record?
Felix Guevara, Felix Guevara.
Okay, and do you swear or affirm the testimony you'll give in this matter is the truth and the whole truth?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm basically neighbors with her. I fully she'll say that she should get this permit. Only reason why is because I've been with her about 5-6 years, and I've been knowing them for a couple of years. And she did lose her parents or her mom a couple of years ago. So I do really say that they should get this permit going. Not because they're, I don't want to be saying that they're neighbors, but they really need it. So I want to keep it short. I don't want to keep it hold back, nothing. But they do really need it. I seen him. He's a great neighbor. She's a great neighbor. So.
Are you the next door neighbor or across the street?
2 doors down.
2 doors down.
So I'm at 8. She's at 12. So that's all I say. I don't want to hold back nothing, but they really do need this. So so I'm gonna keep it quick and simple. So
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We have his address.
8 Florence.
8.
We'll speak so everybody can hear, sure. The board wants discussion next? Go ahead.
Yeah, my question is to add if you definitely need to ask them to take away this other shed or not. It seems, it's been there a long time. I don't know what the rule, what the...
The current ordinance is only 1 shed to the property. That was pointed out to me by the construction officer.
Okay. Well, let's just think,
Willing to compromise on that, as we just discussed.
Begrudgingly, Mr. Chairman.
Begrudging.
Okay, I just want to make sure. It's been there a long time,
Yes, understood.
and that wasn't really part of the application. So.
It was an addendum.
I realize I heard the conversation.
Perhaps this will help in the discussion with the board. Mr. Frazier, what is the building coverage? So you're going to comply with the lot coverage, but do you meet the building coverage for the property? I believe the survey says that building coverage permitted is 30%, and you're at 22.34% building coverage?
Hold on, I'm flipping to that page.
Yeah, and I see that.
You're on Mr. Deck's survey?
Mr. Deck survey, and that would include the sheds, correct? The building coverage?
Well, I'll say this. The building coverage permitted is 30%. The existing is 22.34%. If we look at the size of those three sheds, we see that they are 44, 43, and 73 square feet respectively. So a little quick math, just about 150 square feet total. That's going to be another 3-4%. You're going to be under 26% building coverage, even with the three sheds. So I don't think we're even close to worrying about the building coverage. It's just the numerical feature of it being three. The applicant, if we look at the three sheds, they're fairly modest. You actually could, under your ordinance, have one shed that would be bigger than these three, and in terms of what you're really trying to prevent with your shed ordinance, I don't really think this is that situation. Yes, if you're going to, as part of this, extract from the applicant, drop a shed, you got that from me, but that doesn't mean you have to take it. You can always relax on that and go with the three if the board were so inclined. And it doesn't hurt the building coverage in any way, shape, or form.
So it's up to how the board wants to make the motion.
So my thinking on this is the reason for the sheds is this small house.
So hard to prepare our buildings for opening day.
The storage, I mean,
In addition to small and large projects,
I know properties
some
that
of which
you
are
just,
still in
you need
progress,
space. I mean,
the schools are
the
brimming
stuff in
with
the
fresh
sheds,
paint and
where's it gonna
polish.
go?
We are geared up
And
to
like
welcome back our
Mr.
full
Frazier
faculty and
brought
staff
up,
next Tuesday, September 3rd,
they could
and our
make
students
one
on
large shed
Wednesday, September 5th.
and
I'd
meet,
like to draw your
and be in
attention to our
compliance.
professional
However, it'd be
development goals
a
in
burden for the
E15 on this
owners,
evening's agenda.
apparently,
They include
to
increasing
bear that cost at
horizontal
this
and
time.
vertical
And I'm sure eventually
articulation
they'll do that
focuses
for
on
their own sake.
curricular content, skills,
Okay, so
assessment, programming, and practice.
I make a motion to accept
Developing healthy
this,
and responsible AI practices
proposal.
district-wide.
And,
Enhancing holistic wellness practices
as
to
is with
heighten
no
student
qualification.
engagement, motivation, and
I say
academic
that
achievement.
I recommend
Creating supportive educational environments for all, with particular attention to
application.
continuing the growth of the A-class
Would your motion
resource model
include that
for
they
special
keep the porch
education.
uncovered and don't
Many
enclose
thanks
it?
to Keely Lagour
They had
in
agreed to that.
cooperation with Dr. Quackenbush
They've agreed to
for
it, that-
creating
yes,
and
that's
leading
fine.
Yeah, that's our application. We got no problem with that.
You will also know on tonight's agenda the approvals of multiple
No,
stipend positions that
he
support
makes a good
club and
point where he's
athletic
got, they have 3 small
opportunities.
sheds,
These enable
and he
students
could go
to
out and
participate in
Home Depot
sports,
and get
explore
one
interests,
that's
and
300
engage in
square feet
extracurricular
instead of the
activities.
150 or whatever
Our
the
thanks
number
to the
you
board
came up
for
with.
their
So,
support of these stipends, and of course to the staff who are serving as
like Tom
advisors
said,
and coaches
sometimes you need
outside
that
of
extra
the
room.
school day.
probably why they have the extra sheds.
Currently, we are working
I
very
mean, I don't have
closely
a
with
problem.
Jaffe Communications to establish ways for you to see our world through a variety of windows.
Yeah,
We will soon be
I guess we
launching
should have
official
asked more of
digital social
what
media
was kind of in these
platforms
sheds.
on X, Facebook,
It's
Instagram,
outside
and
storage,
LinkedIn,
so I'm kind of
as well as a
curious.
bi-weekly newsletter
When I'm thinking
that
outside
focuses
storage,
on
I'm thinking,
district-wide
you know,
news,
cut the
events,
lawn,
and
lawnmowers and stuff like that. I
information
don't,
relevant to our district.
I don't think
Please stay
you,
tuned.
I don't see you guys cutting
Until the
lawn, is
school
what I'm
year
trying to say
finally
here.
kicks off officially, I hope
but,
everyone seizes these final
I have no
moments of
problem with
summer
the porch.
2024
I think that'd be a
and
good
makes another
addition.
memory or two. Now, I will turn this over to Dr.
getting
Quackenbush,
3
our
down to
Director of
1,
Curriculum, Instruction, and
I'm not all for
Articulation,
that.
and members of her team
I could see
who
why
will be
we
presenting
had brought up
the
maybe taking one away
NJGPA
because
assessment results.
this is, you know, this
Dr.
is the code.
Quackenbush.
And, you know, thinking into the future, these sheds could be there
Thank
for the
you.
longest time.
I think
But
we're just going to transition. If
I
we have
think-
any Board of Education members would
I
like
know.
to come and
I
have a
think
seat.
I'm not too concerned about it at this point.
Okay, I think anybody else wants to comment, and then we would need a second on the motion that's still pending, if somebody else was in favor.
I don't really have a problem with the 3 sheds because it'd be the hardship. They've been there for so long, and they're really not hurting anyone. They're in the backyard. So I would be okay with the 3 sheds.
But you would also agree that we put in the stipulation that the porch will remain?
Definitely, yes. Uncovered, yes, definitely.
So were you seconding the motion?
Yeah, I'll second the motion, yes. Yes.
We got a first and a second. Janet, would you do a roll call for a vote? And so the board, we have 5 people. They just need a majority for the votes.
All right, good evening. It's wonderful to see all of you,
Yes.
and I'm just going to say,
Thomas
again,
Mead.
welcome, Mr. Marco. On behalf of the administrative team,
Mark
we're
Hayden.
very happy that you're here. And this evening, I have a presentation
Tierney.
on our
Yes.
GPA assessment results.
John Calaguire?
I'm also
Yes.
joined by our district supervisor
And Ed Ruth.
of English and media
I will
specialist,
say yes
as
with
well as our
the,
district supervisor, Matt.
since I have been convinced by my board members
For this
about leaving the
presentation,
3
I'm going to
sheds.
speak to
Thank you, Mr.
specific
Chairman,
local
members of the
results
board.
and explain
It's,
what this assessment is, and then
Not only convenient for me to come here from where my office is, but it's always a pleasure to be before this board. Thank you very much on behalf of my client.
achievements and
Thank you.
exciting things that
Thank you for your time.
in ELA and math.
Yes.
So just for your benefit, so after this meeting, we will go put this in writing with the conditions that we discussed, and then at our next meeting, we will adopt the actual resolution, and then you can go get your building permit, okay?
To communicate this information within 60
And
days.
we memorialize at our next meeting.
Right.
Deadline was August 17th, but because this is the
Um,
next board
as
meeting
far as one
after
other
that deadline,
point,
we are
as
presenting
far as
the
if they want to
information at this
begin
point in time.
on it,
So for your convenience,
can't
those of
until
you
we
who are watching the
memorialize it
presentation, the
next
meeting
month.
at home.
I understand the
the
because if you do that,
presentation
it's at your own
slides
peril,
so that you can
basically.
access
I,
those and
it's,
follow
I've
along,
explained to my
as well as
client
reference
that
them.
first you wait for the memorialization, they won't give you a building permit till you get that. And I've explained to them that if you build before 45 days after that and somebody appeals, you got a problem.
Success. So the
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman.
given to all of our
Have a good evening, folks.
current 12th grade students, so they take this assessment in the spring as juniors, and it measures students' graduation
we have.
readiness per the grade 10 standards in ELA, and then our algebra 1 and geometry
No other
standards,
business, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
10th grade, if you will. We
Motion
have
to adjourn.
separate scores for
Mark.
each of these subject areas. and
Second.
students have
John.
to
Favor?
take
All in favor?
components of the assessment
So moved.
and earn a certain cut score.
Thank you
and that
all.
score is